11 Baluch in the Battle of Pandu. As you can see, this is the overall map of the Pandu area. 2 by 1 Punjab is in the south, 1 by 13 FF Rifles is between 2 by 1 Punjab and River Jhelum, as you can see, and 4 by 10 Baluch, later known as 11 Baluch, is north of River Jhelum and south of the Pandu Massif and about to attack this most dominating height. 2 by 12 FF Rifles of 101 Brigade is in Bibi Dori area. Then there is a Masood Lashkar, Karamat Lashkar, Qudratullah Lashkar, as you can see, and on the Indian side, as you can see, is 7 Sikh, a Dogra battalion, 2 Bihar, 2 companies in the front and 2 companies in the depth holding the Pandu heights, and Indian companies deployed like this: Chota Kazinag, Chenal Dori, Chitriyan. As you can see, this is the overall map of the Battle of Pandu. This Pandu Massif in the center is dominating the whole area and it is located north of Jhelum River. Indian 2 Bihar was physically occupying this height, and now we will discuss the Battle of Pandu and the attack on Pandu by 11 Baluch. This is part of the Pakistan Army Regular Infantry Battalion, performance in 1948 Kashmir War. A summary. As you can see, this is the ISBN number. 4 by 10 Baluch, known as 11 Baluch, was regarded as the most outstanding battalion of the British Indian Army. The most important and famous fact about this battalion was that one of its soldiers was the first Indian to win a Victoria Cross. Not that other Indians before 1914 were not brave, but simply till 1911 Indians were not eligible and considered lower species to be awarded Victoria Cross, although the first Indian Victoria Cross recommended by the British officers was in 1856 in the Persian War, but that is another story. Now, 11 Baluch captured Pandu, regarded as the most crucial tactical feature on Srinagar-Muzaffarabad road in 1947-48 Kashmir War. This short book describes the Battle of Pandu fought by then 4 by 10 Baluch. As you can see, this unit was regarded as one of the most outstanding Pakistani units of the Kashmir War because of its role in the capture of Pandu Massif. All along, this battalion's history was spectacularly outstanding. Raised at Karachi as 2nd Baluch Battalion in 1846, this battalion performed outstandingly in British Company's Persian War, where it won 4 battle honours. It fought in the Second Afghan War and was awarded 2 battle honours, followed by Battle Honour for Egyptian Expedition of 1881. In World War I, it fought in France, where one of its soldiers won in Indian Army first Victoria Cross, Indians being barred from VC till 1911. Note that this was the only Indian battalion which was awarded the Battle Honour of First EAPS. No other Indian battalion was awarded Battle Honour First EAPS. So, this battalion later fought in East Africa, where the German commander von Lettow-Warbeck praised it by name. It was an all-Muslim unit from its raising in 1846 till 1922. Contrary to false claims of Stephen Cohen and Major General Fazl Muqim Khan that there was never an all-Muslim battalion in British Indian Army, absolutely false claim made by Fazl Muqim in his book The Story of Pakistan Army. In World War II, this battalion fought outstandingly in East Africa, Egypt, Cyprus, and Italy, and Pakistan Army's later chief, General Yahya Khan, although originally from 10 Baluch, was also posted to this battalion during the Second World War and was taken PW in North Africa. Although this battalion's historian was so biased that he did not even name Yahya Khan in the Second World War battalion history. Thatcher, I think. This unit was deployed in Kashmir in May 1948 opposite Pandu, 4x10 Baluch, who is famous for the bold capture of Pandu later on. At this time was part of 10 Brigade but was placed under command 102 Brigade about May 1948, 22nd May 1948, and ordered to move to Chakoti. The Indians had started their summer offensive as map below illustrates. As you can see, here, this is the Indian 161 Brigade attacking and 77 Para Brigade attacking. 163 Brigade is attacking Titwal via Nasta Chun Pass. As you can see, this is the operational situation. This is the Indian summer offensive of May 1948, simplified by a map. Basically, 3 brigade attack, 2 brigades going for area on Srinagar Muzaffarabad axis, and 1 brigade commanded by Harbaksh Singh going for Titwal. Now, in this operational situation, Indian summer offensive starts in May 1948. Azads and irregulars withdraw, leaving a vacuum north of River Jhelum, and 2 companies of 5x12 FF are deployed at Chitriyan, while 4x10 Baluch is deployed on the line Gujar Bandi Kathai. As you can see, 2 companies of the 5x12 FFR are deployed at Chitriyan, north of Pandu, to stop the Indian summer offensive, and 2 companies of our famous 4x10 Baluch are deployed on line Gujar Bandi Kathai, as you can see, parallel to River Jhelum, to contain the Indian advance from the south of Pandu Massif. And as you can see, 1x13 FF rifles is deployed south of River Jhelum. As you can see, these are the Indian battalions advancing. Now, as you can see, Gracie handpicked Brigadier Akbar Khan Parich Khail DSO, as he intimately knew him and had written his citation for DSO as his divisional commander in Burma, and as Akbar Khan Parich Khail narrated to me in an interview in 1990 in Karachi, that Gracie had recommended him for Victoria Cross, but finally the award came down to DSO. Now, Gracie removed 10 Brigade of Brigadier H.I. Ahmed, Haji Iftikhar Ahmed, initially tasked to defend Jhelum and Neelam Valley both, and brought Brigadier Akbar Khan's 101 Brigade for this gravest operational task. 4x10 Baluch, one of the greatest infantry battalions of Indo-Pak, is handpicked by the perceptive British CNC of Pakistan Army and allotted to 101 Brigade. It was then part of Haji Iftikhar Ahmed's 10 Brigade. Gracie was so perceptive that he judged Haji Iftikhar unfit to perform the important task of holding Jhelum Valley. Plus, he was so perceptive and choosy that he realized that Only 11 Baluch could handle this important task. So he brought 11 Baluch from the other brigade to Akbar Khan's brigade to hold Jhelum Valley. So as you can see, initial deployment of Duke of Connaught's own 4x10 Baluch when it arrived in the operational area on night 22nd 23rd May 1948 in the broad context of the area of operations. As you can see, Delta Company Major Afridi with battalion headquarters deployed at Kathai, as you can see. Bravo Company Captain Abdul Qayyum Sher, another future hero of the 1965 war, at Gujarmandi, as you can see. Also, Qayyum Sher is also an Afridi. So, only Afridis could do it. Charlie Company Captain Akram to raid, ambush and harass the Indians at Tilpatra Ridge in the guerrilla role. As you can see, these are the three major companies, and Alpha Company under Major Fateh Sher as the reserve at Sharia, as you can see. Sharia also known as Saran. Platoon of Alpha Company sent to Reshiya Gully under Major Fateh Sher with guides infantry further north. As you can see, a platoon of this great battalion, 11 Baluch, was sent to Reshiya Gully opposite this area, as you can see, towards the Kafir Khan range. As you can see, north, small approach, platoon sent with the company of with 5x12 FF, the guides. As you can see, this is the overall situation and this is the initial deployment. On night 22nd 23rd May 1948, 4x10 Baluch was deployed at Kathai as map illustrates, with a company tasked to carry out raids in the south as already discussed, and the 4th Company in reserve. As you can see, on 29th May 1948, Indians attacked and evicted Delta Company of 4x10 Baluch from point 6873. As you can see, Delta Company was redeployed west of Kathai Nala, and only Bravo Company of 4x10 Baluch was kept deployed in its position at Gujarmandi, east of Kathai Nala and north of Jhelum River. As per the December 1970 official history, Delta Company 4x10 Baluch lost 13 casualties, including 3 killed, while the Indians lost 100 casualties. On 1st June 1948, 4x13 rifles was inducted and deployed on the left side of 10 Baluch. As you can see from this map, on 1st June, 4x13 rifles is inducted and deployed on the left flank of 4x10 Baluch. As you can see, 4x10 Baluch is having its right on the Jhelum River, and 4x13 rifles is deployed north of 4x10 Baluch, while 1x13 FF rifles and 2x13 FF rifles are in the south. As you can see, 4x10 Baluch was tasked by Brigadier Akbar Khan DSO to raid and harass the Indians so that they are forced to disperse their forces in security duties. Notable actions carried out by 4x10 Baluch were as following. Raid by Subadar Sadhuzai using 4x10 Baluch and platoon Khyber rifles between Pandu and Singh, killing 20 Indian soldiers. 19 June 1948, section of 4x10 Baluch and platoon Khyber rifles ambush Indian party near Khatir Nar, killing 15 and injuring Colonel Kapoor. Subadar Kala Khan and Charlie Company 4x10 Baluch carried out various raids south of river Jhelum. Finally, 4x10 Baluch was deployed west of Kathai Nala along with Company 5 by 12 FF Regiment Guides, along with 2 platoons of Khyber Rifles. The map below depicts the situation in early June 1948. As you can see, this is the operational situation in, in early June 1948. As you can see, 4 by 10 Baluch is holding the south part of 101 Brigade defences north of River Jhelum, while 3 by 12 FFR is in the reserve, and now 2 by 1 Punjab regiment has been brought in the north, plus 4 by 13 FF rifles is also in the north. As you can see, Pandu area is bounded in the north by Kafir Khan range and Reshiyan Gali, and Indians, as you are seeing, are holding Singh, Khatir Nar, Pandu massive with the Bihar regiment and about 4 battalions in the south. As you can see, this is the operational situation in June 1948. Pandu massive in Indian occupation made the Pakistani position very difficult to maintain. Brigadier Akbar Khan had decided that he would use 4 by 10 Baluch to attack and capture Pandu. He tasked the British commanding officer of 4 by 10 Baluch, Lieutenant Colonel Harvey Kelly, to prepare a detailed plan to capture Pandu massif, which Brigadier Akbar Khan regarded as the most crucial objective. The plan, as conceived by Colonel Kelly, envisaged attack by infiltration by 4 by 10 Baluch during night into the narrow area between Pandu massif and Jhelum river from the south the first night, and a two-pronged attack on Pandu and point 9187 the second night. So the first night was infiltration, hiding between the Pandu massif and the Jhelum river, and the second night was the two-pronged attack. Indians regarded this approach from the south as impossible and did not patrol it. As you can see, the map, the plan to attack Pandu, night 1, 4 by 10 Baluch to hand over defensive position to other units and carry out a secret night march south of Indian position as shown below in yellow dashed line. As you can see, secretly this battalion was to infiltrate south of the Pandu massif, regarded by the Indians as an impossible approach. While 2 Bihar, as you can see, is holding 2 companies forward with hub at point 6873 and 2 companies holding the main Pandu massif opposite point 9178, the highest point in the Pandu massif. Pandu massif was to be attacked the second night with 2 columns, left column being 4 by 10 Baluch, less Delta Company of Major Afridi, the real hero of Pandu, and right column being Delta Company of Major A.H. Afridi and Charlie Company of 17 by 10 Baluch. As you can see, basically 11 Baluch was to attack Pandu with the left column commanded by Colonel Malik Sher Bahadur, who was an outsider. He had come from the Rajput regiment, Rajputana Rifles, and Major Afridi was to command the right column, which was to attack the Pandu massif. On 17 July, sadly, the man who had conceived the Pandu attack plan, the British commanding officer of 4 by 10 Baluch, Lieutenant Colonel Harvey Kelly, was posted out as the Pakistani GHQ had withdrawn all British officers from fighting in Kashmir. The same day, 101 Brigade issued the final orders for attack. On 18-19 July night, 4 by 10 Baluch handed its defences to 2 platoons of Khyber Rifles and marched southeast into the secret concentration area. As you can see, 4 by 10 Baluch and Charlie Company 17 by 10 Baluch carry out infiltration south of Pandu Massif. As you can see, this is the secret move south of Pandu Massif by 4 by 10 Baluch and Charlie Company of 17 by 10 Baluch. As you can see, the next day the force rested and maintained absolute physical as well as radio silence. They started moving after last light. Major Afridi's force, known as the right column, comprised Delta Company 4 by 10 Baluch and Charlie Company 17 by 10 Baluch. As per Baluch Regiment historian, the force traversed the most difficult approach to its objective. The column occupied Pandu's highest point 9178 at 0445 hours, 21st July 1948. It was occupied by the Indians at this time, who vacated it on seeing the advancing force of Major A.H. Afridi, the father-in-law of our most respected member of the group. As you can see, Major Zahid Parvez, Colonel Zahid Parvez's father-in-law, Major Afridi. The Indians also counterattacked it, but this attack was repulsed. Major H. Afridi repulsed the Indian counterattack. As you can see, right column led by Major H. Afridi, comprising Delta Company 4 by 10 Baluch and Charlie Company 17 by 10 Baluch, successfully captures 9178 point at 0445 hours, 21st July 1948. As you can see, this is the right column led by Major Afridi. As you can see, with a element of 19 Baluch, which later became SSG. As you can see, 9178 is the highest point in the Pandu Massif, and the right column of 11 Baluch captured it. Again, as you can see, 2 Bihar is holding area south of 9178, and 2 companies are further forward. As you can see, now Lieutenant Colonel Malik Sher Bahadur attacks Pandu but is repulsed the left column. Further, 2 Indian companies withdrawing from point 6873 also collide with his attacking column and disturb his attack by dispersing his troops. Anyhow, the left column, led by Lieutenant Colonel Malik Sher Bahadur, later Chief of General Staff of Pakistan Army, is a complete failure. As you can see, while Major Afridi has occupied 9178, the highest point in the Pandu Massif. As you can see very clearly, left column has failed, repulsed, went back to the start line. The brigade commander was deeply disappointed, and Major Afridi is sitting victorious on point 9178 with his 2 companies. As you can see, 4 by 10 Baluch attack on Pandu, left column is repulsed. As you can see, Malik Sher Bahadur's column is repulsed and finally scrambles back to start line at Bibi Dori, as per the brigade commander Akbar Khan's memoirs. But right column, led by the indomitable Major A.H. Afridi from Kohat, is completely successful and captures the Pandu peak, the highest point. The right column of Major Afridi was reinforced by 2 companies of 2 by 12 FFR on evening of 23rd July 1948. Brigadier Akbar Khan, being a brilliant operational commander, decided to reinforce Afridi's force with 2 companies of 2 by 12 FFR, realizing that this is the place from where he will win the battle. As you can see, main 4 by 10 Baluch attack on Pandu, led by Lieutenant Colonel Malik Sher Bahadur, was a complete failure. As per Brigadier Akbar Khan DSO, it was the right column led by Major Abdul Hafiz Afridi that dislocated the Indians. This is extract from Akbar Khan DSO's memoirs. He says about the left column, The attempt failed completely and the column was thrown into confusion. In the dark, all control was lost. The men and officers got separated from each other. They were tired and disheartened. Individuals started falling back without permission. More and more did the same. By midnight, in spite of my orders to the contrary, the whole of the left column was in headlong retreat, and by 4 am it was completely out of the enemy area, back again at the starting point near Bibi Dori. This is how Brigadier Akbar Khan DSO described the repulse of the left column led by Malik Sher Bahadur. As you can see, about the right column he says Major Afridi's right column was a complete success. But the next morning, as Akbar Khan stated, brought good news. At 6 am, the right column successfully reached its objective and occupied a 9,300 feet high peak on the flank of Pandu, overlooking it. Although the enemy put up a hurried counterattack, it had no effect, and by that afternoon, the right column was only 500 yards from Pandu, where it waited for the left column to come up abreast. So far, the operation had gone through perfectly, beyond my expectation. I was almost jubilant. The enemy had been taken completely by surprise. Soon the assault on Pandu would begin and the battle would be over. So thought Akbar Khan DSO. However, the left column's failure was totally whitewashed from the officially supported 2017 history of Baluch regiment, sadly. And 101 Brigade Commander Brigadier Akbar Khan's DSO's book, which was the principal first-hand account of Pandu battle, was totally omitted from this official history of 2017 of Baluch regiment. Such was the intellectual dishonesty that even Akbar Khan's book was removed from the references quoted in this book, the official history. As you can see, 4/10 Baluch attack on Pandu, left column is repulsed and finally scrambles back to start line at Bibi Dori, the Brigadier Akbar Khan's memoirs, but right column is successful and occupies the Pandu peak. The Indian commander at Pandu had, however, lost his nerve and ordered the withdrawal of 2 Bihar under artillery fire on 23rd-24 July 1948. This was a case of sheer cowardice, and commanding officer of 2 Bihar was immediately placed under close arrest and court-martialed. 4/10 Baluch was lucky to serve under Pakistan Army's greatest operational commander in history, then Brigadier Akbar Khan Pareech Khail, DSO, not to be confused with PA-1 Akbar Khan, who was a supply corps officer. Brigadier Akbar Khan was deeply disappointed with the repulse of Lieutenant Colonel Malik Sher Bahadur and expressed his sentiments in his book Raider in Kashmir as below. The attempt failed completely and the column was thrown into confusion. In the dark, all control was lost. The men and officers got separated from each other. They were tired and disheartened. Individuals started falling back without permission. More and more did the same. By midnight, in spite of my orders to the contrary, the whole of the left column was in headlong retreat, and by 4 am it was completely out of the enemy area and back again at the start point near Bibi Dori. Pakistani writers like Honorary Major General Rafiuddin Ahmed, however, whitewashed this failure in the 2000 history of the Baluch regiment. Ironically, the Major Afridi, the real hero of Pandu battle, was not even awarded a simple Satara Jurat, Pakistani equivalent of military cross, whereas as we have seen that 17th Punjab Major was awarded Satara Jurat for drowning in river Jhelum, not knowing how to cross a rope pulley. So this was the height of discrimination and this was the height of favoritism at that time, how Major H. Afridi was discriminated against simply because he had succeeded in the attack and his commanding officer had failed. The final Indian withdrawal 2 days later was not the result of a Pakistani attack and was described by Akbar Khan and copied by Pakistani official history of 1970 as below. Now, this is the description by Akbar Khan, copied by the Pakistani official history of 1970. Quote, physically until now, they to Bihar had suffered no real hardships, and the actions of past 4 days in the ordinary course of battles could not be termed anything more than skirmishes, particularly so because the Indians' overwhelming preponderance in men, weapons, artillery, and aircraft was still in their favor, and their main defences were still intact. This is to Bihar. Nothing had happened to Bihar, but they had been badly hit by the elements of surprise and suspense. So much had happened to shatter their nerves that they had lost the will to fight. They feared that a storm was about to burst upon them, and they did not want to wait for it. They could see that a way of escape was still open, and they wanted to take it. Unquote. The reader may note that General Yahya Khan had lifted the Ayub Khan era ban on writing of books and had allowed ex-Major General Akbar Khan to write his memoirs. Of course, the Kashmir war history was also a project of General Akbar Khan. Nobody else could have done it. Simultaneously, General Yahya Khan had also commissioned Pakistan Army Headquarters to write an official history of Kashmir war, which again was assigned to Akbar Khan, although not named. The Pakistani official history thus simply copied Akbar Khan's above assessment. 4/10 Baluch was rightly termed the victor of Pandu, but today people forget that the real victor of Pandu was not simply 4/10 Baluch, but Major Abdul Hafiz Afridi, assisted by Captain Syed Ghaffar of 10/17 Baluch and Lieutenant Khan Zaman of artillery. In 1970 at least, this was well known, and the Pakistani official history had thus squarely declared Major Afridi, Captain Syed Ghaffar and Lieutenant Khan Zaman as the victors of Pandu. As you can see, Pakistani official history stated Major Afridi, Captain Syed Ghaffar and Lieutenant Khan Zaman and the Delta Company 4/10 Baluch and Charlie Company 1710 Baluch could rightly be called the victors of Pandu. This is the Pakistani official history of 1970. There is no doubt about it. Rafiuddin also accepted Afridi's crucial role and was surprised why Afridi received no recognition for his most decisive and crucial role in the Pakistani victory at Pandu. But Rafiuddin also remained supremely evasive and non-committal in his typical style, and rather most mildly expressed his surprise in a footnote. Now, footnote, nobody sees the footnotes, So Rafiuddin goes into a footnote to express his surprise, which hardly anyone would read. Rafiuddin's footnote thus said, quote, for unknown reasons, the two gallant company commanders do not seem to have received their well-deserved recognition, unquote. Now, very non-committal and evasive way of even saying it, Sad that Rafiuddin had to use a footnote. 4/10 Baluch stayed in Pandu area till October 1948, when it was moved to Titwal sector. 2/16 Punjab replaced 4/10 Baluch in Pandu. Here it replaced the 5/12 guides at Pir Sahaba for a short time. It was then sent to Abbottabad for rest and recuperation. It was again sent to Qazi Bakar area near Jhelum as 10 Brigade Reserve, but did not see action. 4/10 Baluch, no doubt till today, is famous for what Major Abdul Hafiz Afridi and Captain Syed Ghaffar did at Pandu. However, most people only know that 4/10 Baluch, now 11 Baluch, as Pandu Battalion. Very few know about Major Afridi or Syed Ghaffar. This is one of the saddest ironies of history. 4/10 Baluch, as per Baluch Regiment Center records, suffered 27 fatal casualties in the entire 1948 war. It was the only Baluch regiment awarded the Battle Honour Kashmir 1948. Now a word about 17/10 Baluch. The battalion was raised in April 1942 by Lieutenant Colonel C.J.D. Tompkins as a medium machine gun battalion. In August 1942 moved to Sialkot for being converted into a tank battalion. However, the idea was dropped. The battalion took part in Bengal famine relief operations in 1943-44 and was then sent to Middle East, where it served in Iraq and Persia in 1945-46 as part of PI force. It was deployed in Syria, Palestine and Rhodes in 1945-46. It was also deployed in Egypt and Libya and returned to India in February 1947 and moved to Nowshera in August 1947. The battalion was part of 102 Brigade and was deployed in Bagh on 17 July 1948. Its Charlie Company was placed under command 101 Brigade for the attack on Pandu in July 1948 and rejoined the battalion after the attack in July 1948. 17/10 Baluch was relieved from fighting in India in Kashmir by 7/10 Baluch in October 1948. We do not have many details about this battalion, but its Charlie Company performed outstandingly in Pandu battles and its performance was much praised by the 1970 official history as discussed. It was renumbered 19 Baluch in 1956. Sadly, this battalion was converted into the newly raised SSG Special Services Group and disappeared from the Pakistani military history. Later, after 1965, a new 19 Baluch was raised, but this battalion had no connection with the old 17/10 Baluch and simply cannot be compared with the great 17/10 Baluch. This is the title of the history of Baluch Regiment, the official history. As you can see, it was shocking to note in 2017 that officially supported history of Baluch Regiment, that left column's repulse was totally whitewashed and hidden by the official history of the Baluch Regiment. It is shocking. He has simply whitewashed the fact that left column under Malik Sher Bahadur was repulsed. I mean, he thinks it is not wise to write this, intellectual dishonesty. What else can we call it? The brigade commander of 101 Brigade, Akbar Khan's book, Raiders in Kashmir, was not even cited as a reference and totally omitted from this book. As you can see, this is the standard of military history writing in Pakistan. Akbar Khan, who fought the battle, never claimed that Indians were overrun, but this book falsely claimed that many attacks were launched. No doubt military history has hit the rock bottom in Pakistan. This is excerpt from my book, Pakistan Army in Kashmir. As you can see, there are more books, but this is not the right time to discuss them. As you can see, these are the various books, but more on these later. We will deal with them later on. As you can see, long list of books, but more later.